Thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good. The number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
The Vox versus right-wingers. Arnab drills down why the Vox lose to the right. When will the Vox learn to read the room? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good. The number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, some people have been rejoicing, some people have been in mourning, some people are ecstatic. Some people say that, they feel life has no meaning anymore. But one thing I can tell you is that nobody is having a normal reaction to the US election. I mean, it's bizarre. Sometimes I look at this election and I say, what's going on here? Is it some kind of a comedy going on? Is it a, sort of Shakespearean tragedy? But I just wanted to begin the nation's sharpest opinion by saying that whenever I comment on the US elections and the results, wherever I've been commenting, and people say, are you talking about India? Are you talking about America? Are you talking about the Indian political situation? Or are you talking about the American political situation? So I don't know why people ask me that question, but let me tell you what I've said about what has happened after the American results and Trump won. The first is that there is this lobby, this poor little pathetic lobby, and reality has hit them in the face with the velocity of light. They don't know what to do. They are completely stunned. And this lobby is sweating, ladies and gentlemen, sweating so hard, because the worst thing that can happen to anyone, an individual, a group, a community, an institution or a lobby, is when you realize that you're completely irrelevant. And this lobby has realized the fact that it is completely irrelevant. It has all kinds of singers and pop stars and ex-pop stars and ex-singers and ex-this and ex-that, whatever. But they still got nobody on their side. They got completely hammered in the election. The biggest thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this lobby, which is represented by the media, has given up all pretensions of honesty, integrity, or loyalty to fact in the course of this election. They've gone all out. In fact, let me tell you, this lobby and the media, they were on the campaign trail with Kamala Harris. They were not fellow travelers, ladies and gentlemen. They were the tires of her campaign bus. They were the coffee mugs that were passed around during her campaign speeches. They were the pit stops. They were the people out there at every single level who were on the campaign trail. There was no media in this election. The worst thing for this lobby this time is that they have absolutely nobody to blame. But the fact that they have been rejected, they have nobody to blame. They don't even have Putin to blame. They can't even go around and say this time that Trump won because of Russian interference, because he didn't. They have nobody else to blame but themselves, and the fact that they are, at the end of the day, what nobody wants to accept. In India too, this lobby does not want to accept. And when I tell the lobby what they are, they say, oh, you are a right-wing person. You run a right-wing network. You may be the most watched network in the country, but you're right-wing. Well, the reality is it's better than being wrong-wing. And the reality also is this time, ladies and gentlemen, that this entire group ran on an assumption that they represented the people. Whereas the fact is, it is not possible for a small group of ultra right-wing people to have given Trump this victory. The reality is that Indians, Asians, African Americans, Hindus, Muslims and Christians all voted for him. And the reality also is that there were two candidates in this American election. And remember, viewers, I'm only speaking about America. Please don't take this video and paste pictures of Rahul Gandhi on it. Please don't. Put all the pictures of Kamala Harris that you want. Do not put pictures of Rahul Gandhi. Do not draw that comparison to Rahul Gandhi. For I am talking about one person who lost today. I'm not talking about the person who lost in June. I'm not talking about the person who lost in Haryana. I'm talking about the person who lost in the United States of America, called Kamala Harris. But the similarity between Kamala Harris and some people in India is that they are not in touch with the people. They are not in touch with the expectations of the people. But they are very much in touch with a small group of ultra elite people, from some singers and Oprah Winfrey on the one side to the New York Times on the other. And we know here also we have some people in the media. We have the wires and the scrolls in our country as well. But ladies and gentlemen, these elites cannot make a political leader win. They can prop up the leader. They can be strategic assets for the leader. They can finance the leader. They can be cheerleaders of the leader. But if the leader is not a leader of the people, that leader can never win. And that's what happened to someone in June. And that's what's happened to Kamala Harris this November. Let's debate.
We're leading in the polls, but we have to do it too big to rig.
Donald Trump's landslide victory has sent the liberal woke lobby into a tizzy.
Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
The Trump campaign has comprised a plethora of iconic moments, from the fist bump post the assassination bid to his befitting reply to Joe Biden's garbage comment about Trump supporters.
Make America great again. Oh.
Make America Great Again message has resonated with the American masses. Multiple Donald Trump supporters have accused Kamala Harris of changing her accent. Watch the different clips which the Republicans base their comments on.
When union workplaces are safer, every workplace is safer. When unions are strong, America is strong. You all helped us win in 2020, and we're gonna do it again in 2024. So I'm gonna get into some business now. Okay, I'm gonna get into some business now. All right. Hello to all my divine nine brothers and sisters.
Despite the Democratic tactics, the Republicans have scripted history. Do the wokes have a problem because Trump took a nation-first stance? The left liberal woke media is indeed having a meltdown. Despite the smear campaign, Donald Trump has emerged victorious. Big money, digital machinery in their control. But the wokes have lost big. Does this signal the fact that the wokes finally need to wake up?
Why did the right wing win? Why did the wokes lose? Why did the liberal woke lobby lose? How did Donald Trump do this? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting again with Shalabh Kumar, founder of the Republican Hindu Coalition, friend of friends to Donald Trump, and chair 2016 Indian American for Trump campaign. And he's been taking clear positions. Shalabh, congratulations, mighty congratulations. What a fantastic victory. What a huge victory. And what a stunning victory. And everyone's in shock. I mean, it wasn't even close. Towards the end, it wasn't even close. So what happened? What do you ascribe this to?
Well, God is watching over, like President said. It was meant to be that God was smiling over the United States of America, and that's what happened. Now, actually, there are a few things I do want to point out. When we were talking about, I believe on November 1st.
Yes.
When we were talking about, and from listening to your monologue and having a conversation with you, I made a comment, Arnab, this interview itself might make the difference.
Yeah, you said that. I remember.
And it did. I'm into numbers and fairly analytical. So there are 3 states we were focusing on: Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So in these 3 states, I would say the margin of victory for President Trump is close to 450,000 votes. And I could tell you quite with a lot of confidence that half of that came from Hindu Americans, half of that came from the last-minute campaign we mounted from your conversation, your monologue, and your very clear position that woke up a lot of Hindu Americans in these states who were just otherwise going, Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. Because Kamala is the Hindu name, so we should go and vote for Kamala no matter what her policies are. But you were able to focus with your interview and your commentary. You were able to focus our people on this election, and history is going to tell this. You know, this particular interview we had last, that is a historical event that has an impact not only in the United States on Hindu Americans, over 1 billion Hindus around the world, India, Bharat, world peace, and with Ukraine and Russia, probably solving the Middle East problem, and it's going to have a dramatic impact on so many things.
Well, I thank you.
things.
In fact, I thank you, in fact, Shelley, for that. And also, I think what you've done in terms of bringing the Hindu Coalition for Republicans together is incredible. See, Shelley, you know me for some time. I mean, I just, when I believe in something, I go all out. And I think I openly supported Donald Trump this time because I felt that he was pro-Hindu. Somebody has to speak for the Hindu community. And I felt so good in the way that he spoke for the Hindus in Bangladesh. And if you don't speak for a community in crisis, then there's no point. And I can assure you, Shalabh, we'll hold Donald Trump to account for it. We hope he continues to take that line even after being elected. So tell me this, there's been a lot of happiness around. I mean, a lot of in right-wing circles in India about this victory, right? But is the business part going to work between Narendra Modi and Donald Trump, because he's a tough negotiator and Modi is also a tough negotiator? Both are very pro their own nations. How is it going to work? Where will the middle line happen?
Because it's in the interest of both countries, both the United States and India. So, actually, I'll tell you a comment which Newt Gingrich made in 2016 for me. You know that Newt Gingrich was the first American politician who was on a video call with then Chief Minister Modi.
Well, I know Newt Gingrich for another reason. When I started my career, I take you way back, my first ever article, 1995, was an analysis of Newt Gingrich. So I'm fascinated with that man. You can tell him that when you meet him. So yes, please carry on.
Yes, no, I was with him last night. So anyway, he had said both of these guys are very tough guys. And whereas President Trump is going to be for making America great again, and Modi will be for making India great again, or bring its glory back. But he says at that time, he's actually on the record saying that is going to be great for both countries, because he recognizes, President Trump recognizes, and I hopefully Prime Minister Modi, even though he doesn't quite say it like President Trump does, he realizes that our biggest enemy is China. And Pakistan is just a small bankrupt country now, but China could create trouble for both the United States and India, Bharat, through Pakistan. And, we need to recognize that there's going to be a fairly substantial push. I will make sure that happens, that we start talking about, we have a blueprint laid out for a free trade agreement, bilateral trade agreement between United States and Bharat. So that will go a long ways. We need to get manufacturing out of China back to United States, and the portion which cannot be done in the United States, that also could be done in India. A lot of manufacturing can move back to India. Now, India has excelled in software, but not in hardware as much. But the next 4 years will see a significant improvement in manufacturing capacity of Bharat.
No doubt. There's a world of opportunity, Shelley. Absolute world of opportunity. But so good to speak to you. And, we're starting our 9 p.m. program tonight with Shalabh Kumar. He's an interesting man. People, they change sides when their friends lose. This man in the last 4 years and before that never switched sides when Trump was seen to be down and out. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, I think Shelley should put it on the wall. If you ever feel down and out, anyone feels down and out, pick up the New York Times, I think, cover, or New Yorker, I don't know who put it out, saying that this is the end of Donald Trump. Take that on one side and take today's picture on the other. What a fight back. Shelley, good to see you. I'll see you soon.
I want to make another comment. I've never spoken to you about this, but this is important to note from my own perspective. See, it was August of 2016 when I appeared in a debate with you, an hour-long debate. Okay, so there actually at that time you had conducted a poll.
We did.
Before and after. And what had happened was after I spoke, like 85% of Indians went for Trump. So that was like an impromptu poll that was done. So I thought to myself, boy, if I can convince Arnab's audience in India, why don't I do that in United
Well,
States?
Shalabh, let me tell you one thing. I don't want to praise our network, but I can tell you we have a huge viewership in the United States of America. Let me also share with you, sometimes we have so much traction from the US, more than some of the American media networks. And I'll make one prediction, Shalabh. Let me tell you, 4 years from now, when the next US presidential election happens, I think a comparable people will be watching on the Republic Global channel than CNN and whatever those networks are, which have anyway become so discredited. I thank you again, Shalabh. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Shalabh Kumar, Trump man.
Very good.
And Advaita Kala, Rashmi Samant and Saurabh Shukla are on the side of the right wing. If you don't mind my saying so, Advaita, don't try to be neutral. You are not. We are not. We are proudly prejudiced. That's a new term, proudly prejudiced. Now, on the other side is a very grim-looking Santosh Mehrotra. Santosh, cheer up a little. Ray Locker is a journalist and author, has appeared many times on my show. Saira Shah Halim looks devastated. And Meera Patel is an advocate practicing in the Supreme Court of India and managing partner in Law Circle. She's a firm Kamala Harris fan. I don't know if she remains one today. So, Saurabh, first of all, live from Boston. It's such a pleasure to work with you, Saurabh. You've been such a great associate. News Mobile, great digital news site. And you've been doing some great reporting for you and for our network. Saurabh, how are things there? Why did the Wokes lose?
Good to be on your show, my friend. And, as we were speaking earlier as well, that I would say that people in the US have voted for a leader who could connect. You were speaking about a lot of times, ideologies and the, extreme left tries to portray a leader as something else. But I think they failed to see it in India when Narendra Modi came back to power, and they failed to see it here in the US when Donald Trump has got. And I'm telling you, I was speaking to a lot of strategists on both sides. One overwhelming view here is that people voted, whether it was voters, the Americans, or the white Americans, from African American community, Indian American in an overwhelming number, Latinos, even women voters, as was being done. Because what Donald Trump did is strategically send out a message that it's a battle between him, who's not an insider, he's the Washington outsider, compared to somebody who was an insider. And the Democratic Party failed to see, because they were being backed by a set of elites who made them think that they can win the votes and can win the election. The challenge is a lot of these politicians don't realize that the real voter lives in the hinterland. For them, basic issues like inflation, basic issues like fuel prices, those are very important. Also, the narrative. I would say Donald Trump was able to get a narrative right. He comes across, yes, there are, he may come across as somebody, who's mercurial. But sometimes the voters tend to choose a leader, and that's what is happening. And I will just take a quick minute on how this will impact on the world. Donald Trump 2.0, I expect, will also not be a replica of Donald Trump 1.0. He has also realized, that's the reason you saw his making amends, whether on the abortion thing. He said, I'm not going to go for a national abortion ban. He distanced himself from a so-called Project 2025. He's already spoken about a great partnership with India. He has a great rapport with Prime Minister Modi, and I would see leader-to-leader diplomacy working more effectively to solve certain global issues.
I think that's a very good introduction. And Ray, I think what we need to do is a very serious analysis of what really happened this time. What, in your view, led to this pretty considerable victory for Donald Trump? Was he underestimated, or was he attacked more than he should have been?
I think he was underestimated. I thought he ran a pretty bad campaign, but he did resonate with people on immigration and the economy. My opinion is the economy was pretty strong, but a lot of people were unhappy with the inflation that started right after the pandemic and really didn't subside until the last few months. And people look at that and go, I'm paying way too much money for the things that I used to get for a lot less money. Interest rates freaked people out, housing costs. There are a lot of reasons for that. But when you're the president, you bear the responsibility for it. And Trump pinned that on Biden and Harris. So I think that was very successful for him. Now, I don't know how successful he will be going forward because a lot of what he's talked about is inflationary. And so if he puts on a lot of tariffs on Chinese goods, not a good thing. If he kicks out a bunch of people through mass deportation, that's going to affect the labor costs and drive up labor costs. So a lot remains to be seen, but I think because he focused on the economy and on immigration, which has a lot of people concerned, he did well.
I think he focused on issues that resonate with the people, which is why, ladies and gentlemen, despite super rich Oprah, super rich stars, Hollywood, all rooting for him, he lost. And he lost so badly. And Saira Shah Halim and Santosh Mehrotra, he lost in a way, Kamala Harris, lost in a way that the entire global woke community is having a solid little meltdown. But the woke lobby, Santosh, is rich, it's elite, in fact, it's super rich, and it went against Donald Trump beyond reasonable limits. I was seeing an article that came out today which said that Donald Trump's 2016 victory, and I'm quoting, was a prank got very wrong. No, it was not a prank. It was a successful victory of a very strategic political mind. And then the art of overstatement, to say Donald Trump, and I quote from this piece, has the soul of a fascist and the mind of a disorderly child. I mean, people sitting in some campus somewhere with some irrelevant fellowship, having no connection with the real world and writing English. No connection with the real world. In their own little echo chamber somewhere, happy with the words they write for the publications who nobody reads. I find a strong similarity between the wokes and the lobby in the US and their aspiring brethren here in India. Santosh, what do you say? Why did the right wing always win? Why did the wokes always lose?
This is your reading of the situation. Always this, always that. I think Ray puts his finger on it. It's very straightforward. The inflation rate has been unprecedented in the United States. The inflation rate has been unprecedented in the United States. That's the bottom line. I'm just back from the United States. I was there 10 days ago, and I was stunned out of my mind as to what has happened to prices. Secondly, I think Ray also rightly pointed to the fact that interest rates have been consistently high. And, the Federal Reserve has kept it high because one of the reasons they believe they will be able to bring inflation down is if actually keeping interest rates high. Now, what most people sitting in India don't fully understand is that a very significant share of US residents actually are homeowners. But they are homeowners on the basis of loans they take from banks, etc. And it's very easy to get a loan in the United States because you pay only 20% upfront cost and the remaining 80% is met by the bank. So a very high share of the people, of residents of the United States are actually homeowners. Now, if interest rates are high, obviously the middle class is affected, but the working class is also affected. And to that extent, the fact that, Biden was not a great advocate for why inflation rates have been so high, why they were not able to prevail upon the Fed to bring the rates down. Actually, in some ways beats me, but be that as it may.
Why be that as it may?
You may like to read the
Why be that as it may? Why do you want to underplay that?
Apply things to India, woke and non-woke and so on. The fact of the matter is at least two chiefs of staff of the former President Trump said in no uncertain
Also
terms
the president designate again.
that he's past it. May I finish? I mean, that was going to be my last sentence, but you love interjecting, so please go ahead.
No, I don't like interjecting, but I love follow-up. So my follow-up to you is that, you want to bring everything down to a complex discussion on real estate. You're not accepting the reality, Professor. The reality is that...
Why are you not accepting what Ray said?
I am not accepting what Ray said. No. I am not. But Professor, I am not accepting what Ray said. I'm saying that this lobby, this woke lobby, they don't realize the mood on the ground. They say, oh, he's hateful, he's fascist, he's this, he's that. For God's sake, his line. Oh, 1 minute, sir. His line on illegal immigration was accepted by the people of America. And if there had been no issue, people would not have accepted it. You people in India are also always for Rohingyas and Bangladeshis and infiltrators, and you tell us to have a golden heart. Well, the fact of the matter is, when Trump says that a vote for Kamala Harris means 50 million illegal aliens will invade our borders, steal your money, steal your job, steal your life, of course he's overstating things. But the fact of the matter is there is a problem. Like there is a problem in India too.
Like there are 93,000 Indians on the borders. Why? Because the Indian...
What about the 50 million, 100 million? What about the 50 million, 20 million Bangladeshis?
Enjoy
and you see the problem with you. 1 minute. It's a problem with you. I don't want to raise my voice, please. I want to have a temperate discussion, but you won't let me. The fact of the matter is we have a leader in India too. We have a leader in India too, Ray, this curious analogy that you will like. We have a leader in India too, who is an opposition leader. I think he will remain in the opposition. He says, you see, Indians, India is not a nation. And then he expects to get elected. I'm only saying the right wing is pro-nation. If you're not pro-nation, what are you? What is Make America Great Again? It's pro-nation, pro-American nationalism, good for them. It's nationalism has a constituency, Professor, that you may not accept, but which is growing larger and larger every day in every country. Can I have Advaita on the other side? Advaita, what happened today? What do you think?
I think common sense won. That's what happened today. I think, you may want to embellish it with all sort of things and now steer the argument towards inflation, which was at 22%, by the wage increase was at 20%. So there was a disparity, but it wasn't that bad, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want. Okay, bottom line is that we had an issue with the Democrats going completely crazy. And that was the problem. They were unhinged. The far left had taken over. They were more concerned about pronouns than they were about any real issues on the ground. They made that their reason for existence. And this is when people are saying things like, look, the eggs are too expensive, daily essentials are too expensive, young homeowners, because of the interest rates, cannot even aspire to buy a house anymore. These were all very real issues. And instead, what did you have the Democrats doing? This one's a dictator. This rally in MSG is like the Nazis, and it was held in this and so year. It's just demonization, identity politics. Kamala Harris, no idea what she stood for, word salad after word salad. Nothing on her policies is clear. At one point, she's against fracking. At the other time, she doesn't have a problem with fracking. Then she's in for gun bans, and then she goes ahead and says, well, I own a gun and I strap one when I have to. So the American public was saying, just who are you, Kamala Harris? What exactly do you stand for? What is your policy? Trump just came in with a sharper, more sensible message. Whether you like him personally or you don't like him personally, at least what you saw was what you got.
Okay,
if he said he wanted to end the war, he was going to do it. He didn't waffle about it.
He didn't waffle. He didn't waffle.
And Arnab, let's also be clear, the African-American vote percentage for Trump has gone up from 8% to 15%. That's nearly double.
See, people don't like it. I'll draw a comparison out here. In India,
a lot of young African-American males could identify with that kind of judicial persecution and violence. So, there are a lot of factors at play here.
True. See, the thing is, 2019, when Narendra Modi won for the second time, he got a considerable Muslim vote. And the woke lobby could not accept it. Now, why did the Muslim community also vote for Narendra Modi? Why did his vote share go up? It is because in today's world, in my humble opinion, Saira, Rashmi, people want strong leaders and dependable leaders. And Trump is seen as strong leader, dependable leader, as opposed to Kamala Harris, who keeps abusing Trump. And I think this time, one of the big reasons why Kamala Harris lost is because of the unhinged rants of Barack Obama and his wife. All they did was abuse day in and day out, calling Trump hateful, fascist, demonizing him. They never accepted the fact that their own candidate cannot speak without an autocue. Now, there are comparisons being drawn. Rashmi, may I draw you in? Are there comparisons between the situation in the US and in India?
Absolutely, Arnab. The intersectional activism that happens across the world, which is basically the woke movement hijacked by the cultural Marxists sitting in, campuses and different think tanks with fat-paying salaries for doing nothing.
Yeah.
They have a sense of solidarity across the world. So their issues are the same. So, there is the Black Lives Matter movement happening in America, but then you have the Indian cricket team here taking the knee as well, because the activism is all across, and they have a sense of solidarity across the world. The left has that, something that the right did not have for the longest of times. But they're repeatedly rejected. I think that is something that we saw today. The Marxists were first rejected by the middle class people, and then the Russian regime and the Chinese regime, kind of rejected them altogether. Then they all came onto university campuses, and they've started this global cabal of activism that happens along the same lines across the world. But what they've forgotten is that you can fool all the people for some time. You can also fool some people all the time, but you can't fool all the people at all times. That's what they've forgotten.
Yeah,
and the Trump campaign, I think it's incredibly unfair to say that they didn't work hard. They worked extremely hard, because I followed this campaign to the T. In Pennsylvania, which became, a key swing state, they brought out 80,000 first-time Amish voters. They registered them. These people, they're isolationists, but they got them out, they got them registered. So they worked incredibly hard as well. And, Democrats, they were just rhetoric after rhetoric, forgetting that, gone are the days of fooling people based on, rhetoric which are manufactured on campuses and through think tanks and endorsed by a few Hollywood celebrities. Those days are gone. The real people won't be fooled anymore, be it in America or in India.
Yeah.
So I think that is the lesson.
Absolutely. Also, this little self-help.
So I'd like to come in, Arnab.
Yes, Saira, please.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, Arnab, neither are we devastated nor are we euphoric, because you look at Republicans and Democrats, it's the same thing. Kamala Harris has never been vocal about pro-Palestinian rights, and I feel the Joe Biden administration didn't do enough to stop the war in Gaza. So either ways, we are neither devastated nor we are euphoric. I'm stating it again. And here, if you look at Kamala Harris, okay, she lost the popularity votes because you have to look at the Arab Americans. A lot of them voted for Donald Trump. And here 79% of Jews, they voted for Kamala Harris on the contrarian side. Because here, what Kamala Harris failed to do is have a vocal stance for Palestine, which she clearly did not have a vocal stand. And here, Kamala Harris has endorsed policies that sanction arms to Israel as part of the administration. So I think overall, the Americans are very confused about what she's standing for. So like I said, it's not a congratulatory time, nor is you're sinking into depression.
No, you are sinking into depression. Not you, Saira, but just read what is being written around. Just read what is being written around and what they are seeing here. It's like the Congress party. It's like the Congress party in India and the Congress party's ruling family in India. They just cannot come to terms with their own irrelevance. And that is all. And then you can't justify it by getting some NGO, politically correct, woke type people, some economists to come and praise you. You can't do that. You have to be in touch with reality. There is a group which wins and there is a group which loses. In this case, despite having the media on their side, Meera Patel, despite having the media on their side, despite having the money on their side, despite having the digital media on their side, despite having the lobbies on their side, the environmentally activist groups on their side, despite having Bill Clinton and Obama on their side, everybody on their side, she lost. So there's a serious problem. In your view, can people blame it on Kamala Harris and get away? Because I know what will happen tomorrow. They'll say, we were good, a candidate was bad. But I don't think they can get away with that. What do you think, Meera?
Not really. I see this as a failure, a collective failure which has happened. It's not that Kamala Harris has failed. It is the ideologies that she represented. People had high expectations. Even people in India were looking up to Kamala Harris being the first woman president.
Why? What do we have it? What is in it for us?
No, of course, because they are Indians abroad. There are a lot of things that would have happened. We would have seen some shift because what I see from Trump's policies, he is boasting about First America, MAGA.
Yes.
He is focusing only on America.
Yes.
This is not an open borders. With Kamala Harris, we would have seen open borders. There are people, immigrants, H-1B visas, Indian residents who are residing in US at the moment.
You want open borders?
Open borders for America.
Open borders, one world, globalization is all rubbish, Meera. It is not true. It is a dream that has been fed to people after the end of the Cold War, which we are supposed to accept, and some super rich people profit from it. It's a gigantic conspiracy, largely propagated by a group of, writers and economists. It does not help anyone.
See, I see this as a failure where, we were hoping for a just America, then a first America. This is what has been,
What is a just America?
Just America is what Kamala Harris was for.
See, you add these words, what do they mean? Kamala Harris is fair, Trump is unfair, Narendra Modi is bad, Rahul Gandhi is good. What is all this?
I'm not
it makes
talking
no
about
sense.
fairness. I'm talking about the rights perspective.
What rights?
There are a lot of rights that Kamala Harris was vouching for. There are abortion rights for women, reproductive rights, LGBTQI rights, then
very academic discussions. They make no sense on the ground. People have no food to eat. There are a lot of homeless people in America, and we're talking about only LGBT rights and, environmental activism and whether people should have broccoli or whether people should have organic hydroponic food. I mean, this is all extremely esoteric, woke conversation.
But the rights are the real issues.
It's very elitist,
But these are the real issues that even India is facing today.
No, it's not the real issues. The problem in India is not facing issues of a caste census. India is facing issues about how quickly we can become, a developed country, a Viksit Bharat, this aspirational country, not to be pulled back. I mean, PK is watching this conversation. PK, will the wokes ever change? Is there going to be a lesson after all this, or will they become more deeply entrenched?
You see, the woke and the so-called left are focused on dividing us. In fact, they divide us into LGBTQ people, women versus men,
pronouns,
caste, low caste, so-called backward caste versus other
pronouns.
caste. What we need,
victimhood.
Basically what is patriotism or nationalism? Basically is where you work for the good of the whole nation. And what was interesting about Trump's victory speech is that he said he's going to work for all Americans, regardless of who voted for him. And he also said that he welcomes legal immigrants into the country. What is wrong with that? He wants all legal immigrants, but the illegals need to be weeded out. That's very similar to what India talks about when we talk about Ghuspetias who are coming in without without legal papers.
See, there is an angle here. You see, I'm telling you, there is an angle here. And people may think I'm pushing the agenda, but Saurabh, there is an angle here. We also, let me tell you, there are a group of people here in India who are fed up with this climate hypocrisy, a constant sense of manufactured victimhood, a need for an open border. India needs to open its borders to China and Bangladesh, the woke agenda, and an obsession with Palestine. There is a similarity. We are fed up, and it's clear to me from today's results, Saurabh, a lot of Americans are fed up as well.
Arnab, let me say it, the American people...
what is interesting is that there's been no focus on Bangladeshi Hindus.
Yeah, absolutely.
India, shouldn't we be concerned about
Saurabh.
Arnab, American people have given an overwhelming mandate to Donald Trump. There is a message here. The message is that what he stands for, what he has been espousing, the American people have democratically elected him, and now let the controversy should rest that, what was he talking about, that he will take America to an extreme country and all that. Having said that, he is somebody, I was speaking to a lot of Indian Americans. He was the first candidate who spoke. He made a clear distinction about skilled immigrants. His wife Melania, came to the U.S. as an immigrant. Elon Musk, a big supporter of Donald Trump, came to the U.S. As an immigrant. The fact that he's talking about skilled immigrants, a lot of Indian Americans, I'll tell you this election, why did they vote for Donald Trump overwhelmingly? Despite the fact that Kamala Harris, a candidate of South Asian origin, because the Democrats never provided a pathway for them to get. They are the Indians today, despite the fact paying heavy taxes here.
No, I think, Saurabh, if I take a little bit of what Professor Mehrotra said, my question which I'm asking is, this campaign, Ray, from where I see it, and you're much closer to it, and you might understand it much better, it became more about how the other guy is bad for Kamala Harris than accepting what went wrong in their agenda and putting out their alternative agenda. It was all about how terrible and how desperate, and how, narcissistic Donald Trump is. It was not an acceptance of what had gone wrong in the Biden administration. There was no conversation on that. Ray?
Oh, I think a lot of that is true. I mean, I personally am not a fan of Donald Trump. I think he is bad. But you got to tell your own story. You got to say what you're for. And if you're going to point your fingers at the candidate or find other excuses, I think you're making a big mistake. We saw in the 80s when Reagan and Bush won 3 straight elections, the Democratic Party had to change. And they did change with Clinton, and then actually Al Gore won the popular vote in 2000. And there was a shift because they started to pay more attention to what voters cared about. And I think that's going to have to happen now. You can't just do things in reaction to what Trump's going to do. And I think there will be a reaction, but that's not enough. You have to say what you're for. And if you don't say it and prove it, then people are going to tune you out.
Santosh Mehrotra, academia, rock stars and rich politicians all failed in this case. They all failed. Do you think academia will change its approach and do some real thinking on, after all, academia must represent what is on the ground. I mean, they can't go into their own capsule, which evidently they must have done. It's real people who do things like Elon Musk who are getting the following, you know. People who do things. Yes.
Arnab, I'm not here to speak on behalf of American academics. I think the bottom line is that she had 107 days to define her agenda. And ultimately what emerged in the 107 days is that she hadn't used her 4 years in office as vice president to actually determine exactly what her agenda was if she was to become a presidential candidate in place of Joe Biden. If I was in her position, I would have actually done some preparation for that. Unfortunately, she did not do that preparation, and I think she's paying the price for that. And it's true, and I think you're right, and Ray's right, that, and I felt that all along, there wasn't enough depth of analysis which had gone into the agenda that she was putting forward. By contrast, it has to be said for Mr. Trump, convicted felon on 74 counts, no question about it, a mafia don of 30 years standing in Brooklyn.
Mafia don. Mafia don, you said? Mafia don.
Yeah, exactly.
What else would you like to add?
Listen, listen. You don't know enough about the man for you to pontificate.
How do you assume
that? I'm sorry. I knew I was sparing a hornet's nest.
I am a self-proclaimed expert on conservative global politics.
So why don't you just let me?
No, don't say I don't know. I mean, that's again this kind of supercilious academic talk. You don't know, I know kind of.
It's not supercilious.
It is supercilious.
Isn't Ray saying the same thing? He's a convicted felon. Is that a factually wrong statement?
Yeah, you used it. Nobody bought that line. Nobody bought that line.
I think
and you can't say she had 100 days. She had 1,460 days in office before that.
Twice. I know that, yaar. I mean, we know we had 2,000 people dying in Gujarat in 2002. We've got that man who supervised that as Prime Minister of India.
For God's sake, would you like to tell the whole country? Don't talk like a profound Wikipedia page. Would you kindly say what the Supreme Court said on the allegations against Narendra Modi, or would you try to whitewash that? Would you try to whitewash that again? I think a protest against that attempt. You falsify facts by the professor on my program, Saurabh. This is unacceptable.
In any case, you keep
Professor, you're not being factual here.
He walked out. This is a classic woke behavior. Can't stand the heat, then you get out of the kitchen. He walked out of the program.
Let's stick to facts. Whatever is the facts, I will again reiterate the will of the American people has to be respected. And there is a reason behind that. These are people-centric politicians who are today appealing to the voters. They are getting mass appeal, so there has to be a reason. Somebody has to smell the coffee and realize why is that the other side is not winning an election. Winning an election, it's not about, nobody can blame an EVM here.
Yeah.
Nobody can. It's American people have voted, and that too in an overwhelming manner.
I just don't know. I call this the woke meltdown, but Professor Mehrotra had a meltdown on my program. What did I do, Advaita?
Well, this is exactly it, right? Everything gets so personal, and the learned professor, this sort of condescension, the left-controlled Democrat Party, because that's not the party that I was exposed to when I was studying in the US, when there was Bill Clinton, was not this elitist party. I mean, this is a party that has transitioned over the years, and these kind of public meltdowns is what defines them. You have Obama telling African-American men that you don't want to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. Now, why are you talking down to them in a society wherein you have such a prevalence of single-family homes with women as the primary caregivers? So it's not that African-American men don't have powerful women in their families.
Give me the other shots.
Obama standing on stage and telling them you have a problem with women, that's why you don't want to vote Kamala, is the kind of talking down nonsense that the Democrats have been doing for so long. They just think everyone is beneath them. And they don't need to talk to people, they need to talk down to them. And this is the response that they've got. And the professor, I'm sorry to say, the way he stomped off
he stomped off.
is a classic example of this kind of intellectual and misplaced arrogance.
The red background,
which is losing touch with the common people. And it's the common people who go to vote.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry for the way he behaved, but I can only say, viewers, he's not the only one. A lot of people tonight are having a meltdown. A really solid, real, long-term meltdown. I just hope that they change on the other side of it. I wish them well. And as I've begun to say, don't celebrate Donald Trump coming in too soon, because I'm not sure what his line is going to be about business and about India. But the fact is he's won and Kamala's lost. And Kamala Harris not just lost, she's lost pretty badly, pretty badly. I thank everyone, and Mira as well. And I shall see you tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, the debate, in case you missed it, on what the impact of Donald Trump for India is going to be on the other side.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Co-powered by Jaguar Bath & Light.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
Director, the taste of success.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? So I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. We also have won the popular vote. Just as I did in my first term, we had a great first term, a great first term. I will govern by a simple motto: Promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
Co-powered by Jaguar Bath and Light.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. I'm too busy, baby, making plans on how to get me one of them manly men. All I want is a touch of love.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. I'm too busy, baby, making plans on how to get me one of them manly men. All I want is a touch of love.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Well, Donald Trump is going to be once again, for his second term, the President of the United States of America, the 47th President of the US. And the question everybody is asking is, how is this going to work for India? Well, at one level, it's going to work out great because Donald Trump personally has a wonderful equation with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He respects Narendra Modi. He's spoken about him so many times in interviews and statements. And it's quite clear that at a level of personal chemistry, both the leaders are strong leaders in complete control of their respective countries. For Narendra Modi, it is his third term. For Donald Trump, it is his second term. Both are leaders with cult followings and quick decision makers. So at a level of personal chemistry, I think there is a world of possibility out there that Narendra Modi and Donald Trump will do great things together, that they will be able to take quick decisions, cut the red tape, and make things work. Having said that, and despite the fact that many people believe that Donald Trump wants America and India to work together, and I too believe that he does want America and India to work together, I have no doubt that compared to Kamala Harris, he's a much better alternative as the President of the USA from an Indian perspective. But we must be extremely watchful as well, because there are things you say during an election. How Donald Trump will be in his second term towards India will only be found out after he enters the White House for a second term. And I would be watchful for three reasons. The first reason is because he's a protectionist. He loves Narendra Modi. He says Narendra Modi is a great leader, someone I'm very fond of. He's a fantastic man,